What is up, MVPs? Wizard of Oz here with another Madden 21 video. Today I wanted to go over the defense that I run with my no money spent team. If you're a budget squad, if you don't spend money on the game, this could be a great defense for you to run. And I wanted to go over my guys on my team actually, and where I'm going to focus on upgrades, and where you should also focus on upgrading your defense if you want to run it this way, because some of these positions are a lot more important than others. I'll give you a hint right now. Defensive tackle is not a very important position for my defense, so that's obviously not one that I'm going to spend money on. So we're going to take a look at my team, and then we're going to jump into a practice mode so that I can show you how I run my defense. It's very, very simple. I want to be very, very clear with you guys. I am not a professional in any means. I've said it in a lot of my gameplays and things like that. I'm not a professional. I'm okay at the game. I'm decent. I get like 13, 15, 16 wins in a weekend league, but this is a very simple defense that I run. So if you're not a professional, you don't like making all the adjustments and having like backups for your backups so that you can sub guys in and out, all the different crazy things that people will do on defense. If you're just an average player, then this might be a really, really good defense for you to run, because there's only a couple of adjustments that I do pre-play, so it's very, very easy to do. You don't have to hit like 47 different buttons before the play starts. It's very, very simple, and we'll go over all of that. Before that though, a quick word from our sponsor if you maybe want to buy coins and boost up that team a little bit.
For the cheapest Madden coins available, check out my sponsor One Stop Mutt to start building that God squad you've always wanted today. Use code WAZ to get 15% off your order.
Alright, so the first thing that we're going to go over here is my defense. Now, there are a couple of holes on my defense that I need to fill in. Got some coins. We're going to be making upgrades and all that. I'm going to be trying to get y'all more engaged in the no money spent videos in the future, but I'll go over that in the next no money spent video. So, the most important positions on my defense are the cornerbacks and the safeties, okay? Everything else is just kind of whatever, okay? You do want to have one good middle linebacker. That's probably going to be Sam Mills for most people. You can obviously get him up to a 95 now, and he's one of the best players in the game. Obviously, there's no one else that's that highly rated. So in terms of players that you need to purchase, I wouldn't even worry about your middle linebacker. You get Sam Mills upgraded all the way. He's a free player. You just have to grind for him. Do that. That's good. You do want to have one good middle linebacker that's a good run stopper. As far as your D tackle, it's really not that important, okay? I got this free Linval Joseph for the ultimate kickoff. I don't really care. My edge rushers, as you can see, they're not great. I've got Nick Bosa 83 overall and 85 Jack Youngblood that I got for free. So I'm not super invested in my edge rushers. I do have TJ Watt that I send off the edge every now and then, but as you can see, he's still one of the lower rated players on my defense. My highest rated players are my cornerbacks. My third cornerback, actually my fourth cornerback, is higher than all of my edge rushers and most of my linebackers as well. The only reason that the defensive tackle is higher is because he was free and I picked him up. So you can definitely see on my defense, even the fifth cornerback, Marlon Humphrey, there is an 85 overall. He's higher overall than most players. So you can definitely see on my defense, the way I run it, I put emphasis on the cornerbacks and the safeties, the DBs in general. So you want to have really, really good safeties. This is the guy in my defense that you're going to be using, your strong safety, your starting strong safety. Now you want to have a good backup safety as well, because you're going to be subbing in a backup safety for the second middle linebacker. If you don't want to use a backup strong safety, you can do a backup free safety. I don't believe you can put a cornerback at this position. I believe it's only safety. So you want to have a really strong backup strong safety or a strong backup free safety that you can sub in for this second middle linebacker spot here. Jalen Smith is fine, but what I need is someone with good change of direction, good coverage skills, and is actually a pretty good tackler. Terrell Edmonds, as a run defender, he's not bad. Obviously, he's not as good as Jalen Smith, but he gets the job done. So as far as my defense goes, free safety is definitely the thing that I'm going to be focusing on upgrading the next, even though I do have bigger holes elsewhere, like on the edge rusher positions. Ronnie Lott right now is a liability on my squad. He can be a backup free safety. I'll put him on the field in heavy pass defenses, but for now I need to upgrade that. So that's just kind of a basic look at how I run my defense with the man personnel. Those are the positions that if you want to run this is what I would focus on getting. Don't focus on these guys as much. Don't worry about your overall as much, especially if you're a budget or a no money spent squad. You're not going to have that 87, 88, 89 overall team unless you just grind a whole lot. So focus on the positions that really matter, and it's just not these ones, especially not D tackle 2. I don't even care about that. He's very rarely on the field. Alright, I think I forgot to mention this in the first part. If I did, I'll put a little title up above my head because I forgot to say it. This is pretty much what I do for pass defense. We'll cover rush defense in a different video. This one is going to be specifically for pass defense. So I am in the Kansas City Chiefs defense right here. It's a really versatile defense. It's got a lot of the formations. Essentially what I do, and actually, even though this is just for pass defense, if I'm not really sure if they're going to run or pass the ball, but I think it's a little more likely that they'll pass, I'll still run this. It's not a full-on pass commit. This does work in run defense. It's just not as good as some other stuff. So we'll talk about that in a different video. But essentially you come down here to $326, okay? And it's the cover one robber press. Like I said, I'm in the Chiefs playbook. There are other playbooks that have this. There's the cover one robber press right here, and then a nickel, there's the cover one linebacker blitz. It's kind of similar. They're just a little bit different. Basically, the reason that I run dollar is because you can see the X's here. I've got my 3 cornerbacks, my 2 linebackers, and then my 2 safeties. One safety's playing high, one safety's playing low. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, you're going to sub out this linebacker right here. You can see he's a middle linebacker. What I'm going to do, obviously we're in practice mode. It sucks that you can't do this in MUT because I can't show you with the guys I just went over in the team. I'm going to sub in the best safety, the best coverage safety, or the best hybrid run stopper coverage safety, whatever you want to do. Any of them are going to be better than this guy in pass coverage, which is more important for pass defense, obviously. So you're going to sub in your best strong safety. For this defense, it's going to be Anthony Levine. He probably sucks, but it doesn't really matter for this purpose. So we're just kind of showing how to set it all up. So then it's just the cover one robber press. So you call it here. We'll just put them, let's put the Browns, and we'll just do a double post play, okay? There's actually a pretty glitchy offensive play, just so you all know. But I use the strong safety here, so you can see he's low, the other one's high, and then you have this safety that you just subbed in blitzing, okay? But what you're going to do, especially if you think they're passing, is you're going to put that free safety in the linebacker position into a curl flat. So the way you do that is right on the D-pad twice. You go 1, 2, it brings it up. You hit square, and then you do right on the left stick, and that will put him in that curl flat, that purple out there. So the reason you're going to kind of do that is because as you're using Clark, the strong safety there, you're probably going to help out a little more on the right side. It's going to kind of depend on what the offense is running and how their lineups. We'll look at a couple different lineups on this, but basically in man, if you're going up against the God Squad, you can use this to defend God Squads with not as good of teams, because the problem with God Squads, right, is the receivers are all faster than your defenders. So you got a lot of people crossing. You've got this linebacker now who's a safety dropping out to the curl flat. So if your guys are just running slants or ins, they're probably going to beat their guy in man coverage. But you're going to have this guy out here in the flat. Obviously, you can't cover the whole area, but it helps you on those corner routes, those out routes, all those stuff. It's just an extra defender in the area. And what you're going to be doing with a strong safety is just reading the offense, okay? If they're running the ball, then obviously you're going to go and try and run and make a tackle. If they're passing the ball, then you're going to just hover over the middle like you would do in Madden 20 with any user, and you're going to just try and take anything away. What you also want to do with your DBs, just kind of as an alignment, you hit triangle to control your DBs. You want to put them inside, and then to make sure you don't get burnt over top, you want to put them over top. And then if you want to, you can press. Now, it depends on how good your guys are and how good their receivers are. I don't recommend pressing if the team you're playing is just like severely better than you. Definitely make sure you do triangle and up on the right stick to do over top. That'll help them prevent from getting burned deeply. Obviously, it'll still happen sometimes, but this is kind of how we're doing it here. So you're using this guy in the middle. You've got this safety over here dropping to the curl flat, that purple zone, and you've got all your DBs shading inside and over top and maybe pressed. I put them in a press right now. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, we know what's being called, but we're going to let them snap it here and call the play. And I'm just going to play the middle of the field. And basically, if someone's crossing, you're going to want to take that away, and you're going to some of your guys are going to have to defend on their own. Obviously, my defender right there got beat. You can't defend everything. It's not a foolproof defense, but it takes it away the majority of the time, especially if you're getting a lot of crossers, post routes, all that stuff. It's something easy to take away. This is actually a really glitchy pass play. If y'all didn't know, then there's a deep, and you hope your free safety will take it away there, which luckily they were able to break it up. So let's go ahead. I want to show y'all a different offensive play with a bunch of crossers, a lot of post routes, all that stuff, because that's what a lot of people are running right now, because it's man beaters, especially if they just know that their receivers are better than your DBs. Running those slants, those crossers, and all that, it's a good way for them to just beat your receivers one-on-one. So let me get them a better offensive play here. So again, you're going to go down to dollar, cover one robber press. And on offense here, we're going to run this PA crossers. Okay, so we got the trips out to the left side, and we're just going to run this here because this has a lot of crossers on the field. And you can see all the guys are manned up. I'm going to put them all on the same defense. I'm going to put the linebacker out there in the curl flat, all my guys inside and over top. Now, the problem with putting them inside is if a guy's running a corner route a lot, they will probably beat you. So a lot of times on this middle DB here, they'll run a corner route, so you're obviously going to individually make this guy shade left, okay, like this, if they're doing like a corner route. But generally speaking, that's kind of how I set it up initially, and then I make my adjustments from there. So let me go ahead and let them snap the ball. Again, I know what they're running a lot of crossers, but I use the middle. I see this guy's beat. And then you got to hope that your cornerback there just doesn't get absolutely toasted on the outside. All right, we're going to put Marcus Peters shading right just to cover that out route, that or corner route, whatever it is that we know he's going to run. All these other guys are going to be shading inside, though. But they're still going to get beat, more than likely. With this man coverage, watch them, they're going to get beat. And you're going to take away as much as you can. I'm taking away this one. Marcus Peters still getting beat. Luckily, he breaks that up. But you're just going to take away as much as you can. Those crossers, what you're trying to do really with this is force your opponent into making a mistake. Whenever you're using, you want to kind of bait them a little bit. Obviously, if you have acrobat or lurker or anything on your strong safety, it helps you use her a little bit better. And really all you're trying to do with this, guys, you're not going to win this every time. It's not like a glitchy, like they're never going to complete a pass on you. You're just trying to not let anyone get completely wide open. And that's what that linebacker here / safety is doing out in the curl flat. And that's what you're doing covering the middle of the field. So we know we're about to see a lot of crossers here in the middle, and they definitely might beat their guys. We see this guy got beat. That guy, he was actually covered pretty well. He just got beat on the ball, but we were right there. The guy that really got beat was right here. Averett on, I believe that's Odell. Averett, I don't know. But he got beat really, really badly. So that's what we're trying to prevent, is those just where they get absolutely destroyed. And that's really what we're going for with this strong safety here. If they're in good coverage and they still complete the pass, then, you know, that's just is what it is. But there, see, he's not throwing to the guy, obviously, that I'm covering. So let's call a different play. I wish I could do like a random play or something, but there's not really a way to do that, unfortunately, in practice. But I'd like to see how I can defend it against like real stuff. So what I like to do, if I think it might be a little bit of a run, I don't necessarily put this guy into the curl flat. So I switch it up. Basically, this guy is going to do one of three things. I'm either going to put him into the curl flat if I definitely think it's pass, and I'm going to have him out there as extra pass coverage, or I'm going to let him do his thing, and I'm going to let him blitz, like what he's originally doing, and not change anything at all. Or if I'm playing a Lamar or Michael Vick and they're just tearing me up, remember this is going to be a pretty fast, strong safety like Edmonds. He's very, very cheap. He has 90 speed. I'm going to put him in a quarterback spot. If he's tearing me up with the quarterback run, this is an adjustment I'll make in game. I'm going to do this. So another thing, just to add on to this, with the D-line is if they're running the ball, if they're in a strong run formation like this, there's a good chance they run off the right side, and I'm in this defense for whatever reason, I think there might be a good chance they pass. I'm going to shift the defensive line over to the left, which is left on the D-pad and then left on the left stick there. Shift them over and then slant right as well. And then, of course, you are using the safety still. So if you think that they might run right, maybe, you know, kind of cheat over to the right a little bit, be ready to go. That's just going to kind of depend on you being able to shoot the gaps. So this offense here, I'm running some mesh. Again, the same thing. I got all the same setups. I'm just hoping my guys can cover, and I'm trying to take away anything that's wide open. Like this guy here got pretty wide open, and of course, so did he. Sometimes multiple people get beat, and because I did put my safety here into a quarterback spot, I'll put him out in the coverage or out in the flat this time. So same thing. He wasn't out there in the flat last time. You can see our guy got beat. Luckily, he made the tackle. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to use her in the middle. I usually take stuff that's rolling out to the right because I know I have that safety linebacker help out there. And there he had nothing to throw to. He's going to throw on the run. Makes a good play, of course, whatever. But you can see how everything was pretty much bagged right there. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to put our linebacker out in the flat. Let's move our D-line out. We're going to put him in quarterback contain. Again, DBs you're putting inside and over top. You can adjust that individually as needed if they're running a lot of corner routes. You'll find that a lot of players run like the same couple of plays over and over and over. You can see everything's covered. He's got no one to throw to there. Everything's pretty much bagged. Even a couple of the guys that are getting beat on this man coverage, they're covered by either myself or this safety right here that's dropping out of the zone. Yeah, they might complete some passes, but you just want them to be covered. Give them like a 50-50 shot of knocking the ball out. You can see this guy would be wide open right here if I'm not running with him. And then as he starts to run, you can go and make the tackle, unless you're me, who just likes to miss the tackle. All right, I do want to show it really quickly here against a run play, just in case that does happen. It does work fairly well against the run. It's not the best run defense, obviously, but if you're really trying to lock down and defend the pass, it will get the job done. All right, we're just going to do I form. Let's do stretch because that's what everybody runs. So again, if they're in a formation like this, you look where the tight end is, you look where the strong side is. I would shift the line over there and slant them, which again, left on the D-pad and then left and blah, 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 blah. Y'all know how to do all that stuff, right? And then you're using this guy, and I'm going to still drop my linebacker. Let's assume I think it's going to be a pass, and it ends up being a run, so you don't have this extra linebacker supporting here, which is fine. You still got this safety. So we've got everyone right now set up for our pass defense. We're using the safety. We're going to let him run the stretch to the right. And this is exactly how we would defend the pass. But if he does happen to run the ball, like they will occasionally, you're going to snap it, you just shoot this gap. Take that gap away, which I did not. But usually you're just going to take the little backside there. Your D-line is going to shift enough to the right to take that away. Let's watch it again. And again, you can let this linebacker blitz if you think they're going to run. Move him up a little bit right here to take away that maybe that cutback edge. Whatever you want to do, but you're going to use her this safety. It's going to depend. Just use it with the flow of the game. And obviously, you do want to switch up your defense. I want to run this the entire time, but this is the majority of what I run. I don't know why I keep over pursuing to the right, but y'all can see I'm right there to make the tackle with the safety. And if you're not terrible like I am, I would not recommend running it very often as your run defense. We'll go over that in another video, like I said, but it will get the job done. Let him snap it, finally. And there we go. We made the tackle, got a couple yards, but not too bad for a pass defense playing run defense. The last thing that you can do is actually the first thing you can do is just let this guy here blitz. If you want to get a little bit of added pressure, maybe you put in a good blitzer instead of the safety for that play or whatever you want to do. Switch up your personnel. That's always fun. You set it up like normal. I think I still have them running the ball, but you know, it is what it is. That's just another setup. But yeah, that's just another way you can run it if you want to get a little bit of extra pressure on the quarterback. And there he is, just absolutely destroying me with Nick Chubb. But y'all get the idea. So really quickly, a rehash here of the setup, okay? So if you want to play the pass, right on the D-pad twice, okay? You hit square for this guy, and then left on the left stick will put him in the curl flat, which is that purple. That's what you want. You're using the strong safety the whole time. And then you hit triangle, left on the right stick to put them inside. And the more important one is triangle up on the right stick to put them over top. That will prevent them more than likely from getting beat deep and all that stuff. If you do want to press them, which is triangle down on the left stick, you can do that, but I don't recommend doing that if the receivers are vastly superior to yours. Final little adjustment that you might want to make is your D-line, pinch them inside if you think that they might run up the middle, and then you can always take away the outside with your DBs and all that good stuff. So he's going to be running the stretch here, obviously, so in a setup like this, I would more shift my line to the right to take away the stretch. We know what he's running, so it doesn't really matter. But that's just a quick rehash of the setup. This is a very good pass defense, guys. I'm able to beat a lot of teams that are much higher overall with much better receivers than my DBs. Their overall is much better and all that. And I do a pretty good job, but you do want to invest heavily in your DBs in general. Like even for my run defense, y'all can see my DBs are still the top players on my team. Investing in your DBs is the way to go this year. Even if you're going to play on heavy run defense and all that, the DBs are pretty good at making those run stops and everything. I would definitely recommend investing heavily in DBs over investing in your line, your linebacker, all that stuff. Of course, you want to have a good pass rusher or two just to get after the quarterback, but I would always invest in your DBs over those guys. There will be another No Money Spent episode coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, if you missed my last one, I'll put it on the screen right here along with a video on how you can raise your players overall. So make sure you check those out, and I hope you all enjoyed that video, and as always, I will see y'all in the next one.